So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know what you're shown. What where you get, what you're shown. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know what you're shown.
Playing more music online. We are
Plus Radio. So we would have two guests, and we will have Mr. Finney Dan Sobafo, who is the former NASPA president at the Ejesu Jabi municipality, and we will have Mr. Michael Abua, who is the SRC president elect at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, to help us with the discussion for today. But
playing more music online. We are
Plus Radio. Plus Radio. All right, so we are back again in service to God and country. My name is Emmanuel Kweku from Pomanson Madiba, and the show is heavily produced by Ms. Thessi Gambra, and we are executively produced by Mr. Benjamin Sapon. So today we are going to look into the stabbing issues, or the stabbing issue that happened at the Konongo Odumasi Senior High School, and we are also going to look into the rise in university accommodation fees. We'll look at other matters arising. A whole lot of issues are arising, the rise or the hikes in fuel prices. We also have, like I'm saying, a dozen 1, 2, 3, 4, about 12 LGBTQIAA. We will see if we can touch on it. And so we have Mr. Finney Jan Danso Bafo here with us, and as the show goes on, Mr. Michael Abua, the SRC President-elect, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, will join us over the phone for him to talk about the rise in university accommodation fees. Okay, so we welcome our gentleman into this house. Finney, welcome once again to Mema in Ghana on Plus Radio.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for we having you again. We had you exactly 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, there where we talked about entrepreneurs, or where we talked about graduates.
Sure.
Go into entrepreneurship. Okay, so your opening remarks. Now we look at this issue. Maybe we have to look at the rise in university accommodation fees first, but we have to start with the recent happenings at Konongo Odumasi SHS. Well, I was saying in the intro that this brought the issues of bullying at the senior high schools into the limelight, because it's been happening for ages, for decades. I remember I've been a victim and I've been a culprit before with this SHS bullying and stuff. But to the extent of stabbing and what have you, well, okay, so your opening remarks there.
All right. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you so much, my listeners. I hope people are listening from all over Ghana, and I believe that we are going to learn some things today that would really, really change the way we see things and the way we do things. Concerning this issue of stabbing, it is not just a matter of bullying. It is beyond bullying, as a matter of fact. And should we decide to look into this matter, into the depths of it, we would realize that it is actually a deeper problem that we are overlooking. You remember last week I made mention of something. I don't know if you remember. I said that when we pick an issue like corruption is not the foundational problem. It is not a motherload problem. There is actually a motherload problem that is giving birth to corruption. So corruption is only the fruit of it. And we are actually supposed to go deep to actually discover the deeper problem that is giving birth to corruption. And until we do that, we should forget about arresting this canker called corruption. In that same way, this issue of bullying and then stabbing and high-level licentiousness and immorality in our educational system now, my brother, it is beyond just enkwalabonism. It is actually a deeper problem that we are overlooking. And today, if time permits, I will want us to go more deeper into it. Now, this is the problem. We are living in a system. We find ourselves in an educational system that has actually lost its true meaning and purpose. And so, the problem is the fact that we have lost the purpose of education vis-a-vis national transformation or nation building. And the sad problem is that we actually find ourselves in a certain season or in a certain generation where we have actually lost the reason why God gave us education. And you remember last week I made mention of the fact that education is not just giving people raw facts knowledge, but to empower the mind so that we can lay hold on our potential and become problem solvers of the problems in the society. But the point is the fact that education now has been secularized. That is the word. Secularized. Somebody may ask, what is secularism? If, let's say, you are a social work or you study sociology or political studies, I'm sure you'll be able to relate with this word, secularism. There's something called humanistic secularism or humanist secularist manifesto.
Okay.
Now, secularism, what is secularism? When we say a nation has been secularized or a system has been secularized, it simply means that they have actually taken God and let's say and the relevance of God out of whatever they are doing, and they only focus on the benefits that when they acknowledge God and his principles they get. But the ideal thing is that they try and then take God out of anything that they do. So a secularist state is not an atheistic state. When we say an atheistic, today our conversation may be very philosophical. So I really want our listeners to pay close attention to what we are going to talk about.
So if we want our listeners to pay attention to what we're going to talk about or what we are talking about, listeners out there, if you're listening to us and you want to be part of the conversation, you can send in your comments via WhatsApp or SMS on 0599727510. That is the studio line, 0599727510, or you can send it to the other line, 0244177666, 0244177666. Okay.
All right. So I was talking about secularism. Now, secularism is actually a religious ideology that has actually come to change the real meaning and the purpose of education. And so any secularized state or any secularized system is that system that actually tries and then take anything God out of whatever we are doing. And so the problem with our educational system is that it has been secularized. So when I say it has been secularized, based on explanation I've given, it simply means we have actually taken the relevance of God out of all that we are doing.
Okay.
Now, what is the implication of taking God out of everything we do? It is very serious. And as I said, a secularist state doesn't deny the existence of God. They actually acknowledges the presence and the existence of God, but they actually, neglect and make nonsense the relevance of God in their day-to-day affairs.
So, okay, you continue.
All right. You see, I'm going to land on a point. So please, listeners, kindly pay attention and listen to what I'm communicating. Now, the moment you take God out of a system, one thing is sure to happen: purpose becomes meaningless. We lose touch of what is true purpose, because purpose is actually the reason why we exist, the reason why we do what we do. And the day you take purpose out of what you are doing, the end goal is that you are, or let me say, the day you take God out of what you are doing, the end goal is that you take purpose out of what you are doing. No wonder we live in a generation where the average student doesn't have any motivation to study. Nothing motivates the average Ghanaian or African student to study, because he does not even know the reason why he's studying the course he's studying. And until this matter of purpose is settled, we have no hope as a nation. I'm going to link it to this particular problem and other problems. I remember, was it last 2 weeks? I was going home, I took a car and then I met some two ladies, bro.
After we parted ways over there.
No. Last week, I think it was last week.
Okay.
I was in a car. I went to do something in town. So I met these two ladies, and then I just figured out that no, they were students. I don't want to mention the name of the school. So they told me they are students, they are in SHS 1. And it was around 1 p.m. So I asked them, where are you going? They were like, oh, we are going to see a friend. I was like, what are you going to see a friend for? At this time, are you not supposed to be in school? Then one of the ladies was like, oh, we are day students, and then the other friend we are going to see is a female. I'm sure she said that because she thought I was thinking maybe she's going to see a guy. So she said, oh, okay, we are going to see our female friend. And I said, so what are you going to do? Then she said, we are going to play a game. I was like, ladies playing game. What game? Temple Run or what? Or PS?
Xbox.
I was shocked what I heard from the lady's mouth. She said, they are going to twerk.
That's the game.
That is the game.
And what results are they going to get after that?
And after engaging the lady told me she doesn't see anything wrong with it. Actually, the one they are going to see is the master, and she's the one training them.
The one who is sick.
No. The one they are going to see in the house, who's also a student, right? Is the one training them, and she began 2 weeks ago.
So they are going to see their boss.
They are going to see their boss, and they're just going to twerk. You see, for some time now, a whole lot of issues have been coming up in our schools. Just quite recently, we heard about Hini Senior High. A news purported that the students had bent the dormitory block. A whole lot of issues going on, and it seems that our leaders, you see, I don't want to think they don't have a genuine concern about the problems that are going on. But the fact is, they don't know what exactly to do to solve this problem. They are completely overwhelmed about the depravity and the dilapidative, nature of the problem. And so here's the case. They are like, what do we do? I remember I was talking to one of the high-level ranking, men in our educational system. He told me, what can we do? We don't know what to do. Let's leave them to be. If they go and fail, they will take you home. But this is not the solution to the problem. The problem is actually a deeper problem, and that deeper problem is coming from the fact that we've taken God out of our educational system, and we've taken purpose out of our educational system. So whatever we are doing doesn't have purpose, and the day you take God out of what we are doing, what will come out is called humanist secularized agenda. And for all you know, secularism is a religious ideology, and there's something they call humanist secularized manifesto. 1, 2, 3, that is your Bible. And all that they talk about is that God is there, fine, but God has given us our minds, so we can use our minds by our own instincts. We can do things, put things together, create new things, and then live life the way we want it to be. But my brother, let me ask you, the day we take God out of what we are doing, one thing is certain to happen. We will lose what we call morality. Because if we take God, who is actually the standard that determines good and evil, what is bad and what is right, the day we take God out of it, everybody is subjected to their own opinion. So the one who stabbed the other guy can say, what I did is right. I'm revenging maybe something that the guy did. Should we take God out of our educational system? We have no hope.
And have we done that?
That is exactly what we are doing. Not in Africa per se, in the entire world. And that is what is causing America to fall right now. Bro, if I tell you about the history of America's educational system, you may not believe it. Do you know that there were times that if you were a student, I don't know the grade, it is mandatory for you to study the 10 Commandments in school.
In America?
In America.
So what happened?
Humanist secularized worldview. And when I was talking, I made mention of the fact that this whole problem is an ideological problem. It is actually a whole ideology that is breeding this whole problem. I remember when I heard the news of the guy who had been stabbed. I was in a car. All of a sudden, I felt heartbroken. I was so sad.
Are you not sure you are just linking it to your some broken heart somewhere?
I was really sad. And the reason why I was really sad was because I instantly started thinking, so what could have been the destiny of the guy who was stabbed? What could have been his destiny? Could he have perhaps become maybe the Nkrumah of our time? And what would be the destiny of the guy who stabbed the other guy?
Now you
What would be going through his mind?
An ex-convict. That is if he is jailed. I don't know. He's underage.
Exactly.
I don't know whether he'll be sent to the juvenile prison. I'm sorry, juvenile prison for the time being, and then when he comes of age, that is after 18, he'll be sent to the main prisons. I don't know how it would.
It is so sad. It is so sad. So when I was thinking about this, I came to a conclusion. These boys or these guys in SHS or these young boys and girls, they are victims. It is not their fault. They are only victims. They came to meet a problem that is deeper in depth than them. And so in their minds, they think they are just, doing what trends.
Yeah.
They have no idea that what they are doing is actually a product of a certain ideology that is being perpetrated in our system.
Wow.
And it is so sad. You remember last 2 weeks, I made mention of the fact that this whole problem is coming from our forefathers.
Yeah. And
I'm going to repeat it. This problem is not coming. It is not a 2-3 year problem. It is actually a deeper problem. We've lost the true meaning of education.
Okay.
Should I tell you the meaning of education?
Yeah, tell us.
The true meaning of education is to empower the mind, to empower, or let me put it this way, to empower the head and empower the heart, and subsequently empower the hands.
Empower the head, empower the heart, and subsequently empower the hands.
Now let me explain. So education is actually not the end. Education is a means to an end. And what does it mean to empower the head? It simply means empowering the mind. And what does it mean to empower the heart? That is where we have the issues of character. That is where character formation actually takes place. So you empower the mind of the student, then you empower his heart, character formation, then you empower the skills, his hands. Now let me show you the situation now. We've actually taken away the empowering of the heart, and we are now empowering their minds by feeding them with raw facts and information that are even not relevant to our societies now, and we are empowering their hands. But my brother, should you empower the head, the mind of the student, and you empower their hands, our country has no hope. Our country is in a state of gloom. Do you know why? Now, why is it that our leaders now in Ghana here, they will take money wherever they got it from and go and save it in Switzerland? Why can't they save it here in Ghana?
Do we even know? Honestly, I've been thinking about this. It's not only in Ghana here. African leaders.
Africa, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, African leaders will save at the World Bank or save with the World Bank in Geneva, Switzerland. And I don't know, millions of money. What is this mentality?
I'm coming there. Someone will go to school and study computer science, and upon all the problems that we are facing in our country, real problems on ground, all that he can do with his mind is to produce a game.
A game. I can also say that is to scam somebody or
exactly.
Okay, that's a game.
No, that is another aspect of it.
Okay.
So, upon all the knowledge you were fed with, all that you could do was to produce a game. How does a game literally solve our problems?
But somebody will say at least he has done something.
He has done something.
Yeah.
Yes, he has done something. But how is that thing going to culminate in national transformation and nation building.
Something that he has done something, but it's irrelevant.
It's practically irrelevant on ground. How many people play game?
Okay.
And should we educate our people and give them knowledge and empower their hands without empowering their heart? Form character, honesty, integrity, truthfulness, loyalty, and what have you. We have no hope, and that is the reason why immorality is on the rise and in the ascendancy in our country.
So does this become an immoral issue? An issue of morality?
Exactly.
Okay.
Why should you pick a scissors and stab your brother in the face?
Was it a scissors or knife?
I heard it was a scissors from the news. Come
in
again.
The face.
No, listen. You looked at him.
Okay.
From the ribs, and you stab him. You see, it is also an effect of another problem, and that problem is lack of value for human life. And all these things are coming from the fact that the heart issue has been thrown away. We are only focusing on giving them knowledge, and empowering their hands. Chances are that we would actually raise clever fools. He's very brilliant, but he's actually using his brilliance to do evil. He's actually using whatever knowledge he has gotten to scam people. And should we lose the true purpose of education, and should we lose the value for the human being, this is the problem we are going to see. And until something is done about this, we are going to see worse situations coming up, because it is like a ripple effect. It has been triggered. And right now, if you go to the schools, there's nothing you tell the students they will hear. It will only take the ideology that the God of the Bible gives to be able to solve this problem. I'm not being Christian biased. That is a reality. My brother, let's go a bit into history and let's talk about how certain great empires and kingdoms fell. Talk to me about the Grecian Empire, Alexander the Great. It fell because of immorality. Character building is actually the building block and the foundational element that builds a nation. And if we would incorporate character building in the educational system, we have hope. Look at our curriculum. Look at our syllabus.
Yes, I get you. You continue, but they would say that it's is it RME, religious and moral education. They have some bits of it in social.
They don't
studies.
teach character building. They only talk about certain religions, Christian religion, Islam, traditional religion, and what have you. They don't really go much deeper into, for example, what is the effect of dishonesty to nation building. You see, the problem is a lot of people think that the sins that they are committing, they are personal sins, but they have no idea that that attitude of intolerance, that attitude of impatience, that attitude of lack of self-control is the reason why our country is the way it is. Let me give a quick example about lack of self-control. Why is it that our leaders will go for loan, not thinking about the next generation, 100 years, and they write it in the bill that
they will take
that the loan will be paid 100 years later.
Yes. One day I wish that Tessie will sit here and then I'll sit somewhere here and then we talk. You take a loan, you are 70 years, 60 years, 50 years, but you go for a loan that you would use 50 years. It means that what is the motive behind this?
The motive behind it, you see, it is simple: lack of self-control. When that president or when that minister who went to sign that thing was a kid, or when he was a young boy, he was not taught the negative effects and the negative consequences of self-control to nation building. lack of self-control to nation building. He was not taught that his impatience can cost the nation a lot. He was not taught that sexual immorality has a lot of negative repercussions on nation building. He was not taught. He's only a victim. Look at our educational system. Let's assume that RME talks to us about, morality, ethics. I will even come to the university. I know we learn ethics there. It's 0 credit hour. Why should you learn a course that you wouldn't be examined on and you take it serious? Ethics in the university. You don't write exams on it. So why do you expect me to give it much seriousness? I'm not going to learn it. That simply means the situation is very crucial. It actually reveals how casual we've taken the subject matter of morality and then character building. But that is the reason why we are the way we are as a nation. And until this problem is solved, we have no hope. Until this problem of character building is solved, we have no hope as a nation. Listen, it will only take God to be able to solve the problems we are going through. And it will only take the God. I may sound a bit biased, but that is the reality. It will only take the principles that God gives in His Word, the Bible, that will change and that will tame the hearts of these young boys and girls in the SHS. No.
But somebody will also say that they go to church. They have their church services. Let's be practical here. We don't. The ordinary person listening to us will say that edu kwesi ada so omoko sorry. Edu memenda omoko sorry. In gramophone, excuse me, Fridays omoko.
Exactly.
So what is wrong?
The problem is, even the average Christian who goes to church doesn't even know the connection between the responsibility of the church and nation building. He sees the church as a religious system. We are supposed to, obey certain rules and go to heaven. And he doesn't see anything related to nation building. And that is the problem. So we go to church, but at the roots, at our core, in our heart, in our heart is still sickness and disease. Our heart is sick. That is a problem. So we go to church, all right. Our pastors preach, all right. But the messages that are being preached are not actually resulting in changing or actually bringing to an end or arresting that disease in our hearts. That is the problem. We are sick in our hearts, and this issue must not be politicized in any way. We are sick. We are having serious problems, and this problem, it will only take the God of the Bible and His Word to be able to change this. Don't they have counselors in the schools? They have. I know from what I know, every school has a counselor, yet the counselors are overwhelmed by the problems.
They do have counselors,
exactly,
even at the universities,
exactly. But they don't know how to go about it. Why is it that suicide is on the ascendancy in our universities? Why is it that inferiority complex is on the ascendancy? Sexual immorality are on the ascendancy in our universities, in our tertiary institutions, in our secondary. What was it last 2-3 weeks? I was just walking around Tech Junction, and I met 2 ladies. GHSO, and the things the ladies were talking about. Can you believe one of the ladies said, "Me dear, I like more rounds. You should give me more rounds." I was like, "Hey,
maybe rounds of taking banku."
Rounds of taking what banku? This is not banku. It's a serious problem.
I tell you,
it's a serious problem. It's a serious problem. And one problem is the average Ghanaian doesn't know who he is. Or let me say, when we pick Ghana as a nation, who is Ghana?
Ghana is you and I.
What is our identity? How unique are we from Nigeria? How unique are we from Cote d'Ivoire? When we meet on international platforms, what unique thing are we going to bring on board? We do not have it.
They'll say Ghanaians are hospitable. They say it. Honestly, they say it. Ghanaians are hospitable.
We do not know who we are. We do not know our identity. It is a serious problem. And one other problem is we do not have a national vision. I said it last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We don't know 40 years from now where we are going.
40 years, wow. 10 years.
It is a serious problem. And it shocks me why, you see, all these problems are being revealed in the bad governance of our leaders. Why is it that one leader will come, begin a project, another leader will come and forget it?
Party manifesto. And you see, the real problem is coming from the fact that they do not value human life. If we value human life, our leaders wouldn't be doing the things they are doing. If they really value the life of the average Ghanaian, they would not be doing what they are doing. They won't come and tell us that the payroll is full when people are paying huge sums of money to be employed in government sectors. Even now, it is a problem. And this problem, my brother, it is coming from our educational system. Because I want last 2 weeks I said something that education or our educational system is actually like a mill that actually produces whoever becomes what in our nation. And so if we are complaining that we are seeing about high level immorality, corruption, a whole lot of issues, bad governance, it is coming from our educational system. Our educational system produced those kinds of people. And that is the problem. And so until we lower down to the fundamental basic problem that is giving birth to all these problems, we have no hope. There is actually a precept, precept problem that actually gives birth to what we call a concept. And that concept gives birth to an idea. And that idea gives birth to an ideology. An ideology gives birth to worldview. And a worldview gives birth to a theology. Now, your theology will produce your philosophy, and your philosophy will determine your way of life. This is the chain of how ideologies are formed in our nations. And this problem is an ideological problem. It is a character problem. And until that character problem is solved, we have no hope. Let's go back to the insurgents and the beginning of modern educational system, public education, that began from a pastor and a priest by name Martin Luther. What was the purpose of education during those times? To build the mind, to build the heart, and to build the hands. 3 reasons. So after going through school, you have a certain disposition about life. You know why you are on earth and the reason why God even brought you to this earth. Go to our schools and pick any average student and ask him, why are you on earth? Why are you even studying the course you are studying? It is going to be a problem, because we've actually lost the ideal reason why we go to school and the ideal reason why God brought us to this earth. It is a problem. And as I'm saying, until this problem is solved from its root, giving acknowledgement to the God of the Bible and bringing back the foundational roots of the Bible and its place in the educational system, bro, this problem can never be solved. All right, thank you very much. So you're listening to Mr. Finney Danso Bafo, who is the immediate past president of Jeso Jabin Municipality NASPA, the 2020-2021 year group, and he's the CEO of Educos Consult Africa. We're talking about, we're looking into the recent happenings at the Konongo Odumasi Senior High School. So I think I'll, in a space of 2 minutes, what you finally have to say about it before we go into our next topic.
All right.
So going forward, what should be done?
Going forward,
Yeah.
very simple. We need to go back to our roots. When I talk about roots, I'm not talking about the African roots. I'm talking about the roots of where public education and modern education began from. The Bible. Hey, check all the big schools in Ghana. You let me talk about Ghana. And check their mottos. In God we trust. In thy light we shall see light. Live pure. Tell the truth. Follow the king. Submining him dear. You see, all this.
Let me add one. You know, I told you that I'm an chairman.
Exactly.
TK, ours is nimdiani affordable.
For a war. It tells you.
Sacrifice. Knowledge and sacrifice.
Okay. Where now, let me even pick this opportunity and talk about this matter of sacrifice. We can never truly sacrifice if we do not know the value of the average human being. And for us to be able to know the value of the average human being, it will only take God to tell us how worthwhile the life of the human being is. And until we go back to God, we go back to the Bible, go to Harvard University, go to Yale, go to Oxford. Why do they have chapels in their universities?
Go to Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay. Why? If you go and check their mottos, it will shock you. I think, is it Harvard? It talks about giving the glory of Christ or something. But they've lost that original foundational element. And that is the reason why I hear bre. And until we go back to God and then find out how are we supposed to build our educational system. And simply put, the purpose of education is to empower your head, empower your heart, and empower your hands so that you can solve relevant human problems and give glory to God and then uplift the dignity of man. Until this is settled, we have no hope.
Somebody, I just saw a comment on WhatsApp and somebody saying that their school's motto was "Drain Shekain."
Drain her kind.
Chine as someone.
Nah, I want to remember the name of the school. Drain Shekain.
You've met it. And so we're listening to Mr. Finney Dan Sobafo on the recent happenings at the Konongo Odumasi Senior High School, and we're having an interesting conversation. What school is that?
I think in Fansipim. I'm sure.
Moba.
Kwabuchi. Our fathers. Now, I want to chip in one last thing concerning this issue. And one of the reasons why this problem is on the ascendancy, I'll blame the media. The media, especially our bloggers. Somebody will go and twerk, do all sort of stupid things, and by the time you realize those bloggers have taken the issue up and they are popularizing it. Just look at how educative this program is. No blogger will pick it up.
And
farm home. And that is a problem. That is the problem. And fan home. Because he knows that if he projects someone twerking in SHS school, he'll get more likes. People watch because the people's heart are also what? Sick. They don't value good. They don't even know what good is. And so they only follow after stupidity. So to use that word. But
okay.
Sometimes we should nail the thing as it is. And it is very sad. You go on YouTube, you go on Facebook, Instagram. We are only projecting mundanity, frivolities, and things that have no bearing with national transformation. It is very sad. It is very sad. And you see, the reason why the media, the bloggers are also doing this is because they don't even know the purpose of media and the purpose of blogging. You see, taking God out of what we do, it actually destroys everything. And until we begin to fix God and begin to go to God, find out what He says concerning life and living, and then what we can do to lay hold on our potentials and solve problems, we are going nowhere. Because until this is done, we can bring in a whole lot of digitization, whatever. But you see, until the core problem of the human being, the issue of the heart is solved, we would use that technology to do evil. We would capitalize on that technology that is coming. Our vice president is talking about, whatever, a whole lot. Even if they come, even if AI, artificial intelligence, comes on the scene, we will still use it to do evil, because the core of the problems of the human being, which is the problem of the heart, the sickness in the heart, the disease in the heart, hasn't been solved.
Wow. The sickness in the heart, the disease in the heart hasn't been solved. Okay, so that's Finney on the happenings at the Konongo Odumasi Senior High School. Then what it means is that we really have a long way to go. And so if you're listening to us, I know we are listening, be part of the conversation. You can send your SMS, your WhatsApp message to, via the studio line 0599 727510, 0599 727510, or 0244 177 666. So we look into our next topic, the rise in university accommodation fees.
The rise in university accommodation fees.
Yes.
It is actually linked to the first topic.
Yeah. Well,
do you know why?
Yes. But tell
Give
us.
me a clue.
Tell us. It all boils down to our mindset.
Our mindset.
Yeah.
Why would you make the prices of hostel fees so much high, such that the average student cannot afford? It is a deeper problem, and it is coming from the fact that, number one, we do not have value for human being. We've taken God out of everything we do, and the moment we take God out of the things we do, hey, Charlie, because when I see you, I'm seeing exploitation. I want to exploit you.
Yeah, the word is exploitation.
Yes, because whatever is going on campus now is they are just exploiting students. Now let's do a real quick calculation. Imagine now I just completed university some few years ago, so I know what I'm talking about. K University. I'm using K University as an example. You come to K University, and let's say the average amount of school fees you pay for a year is, let's say, 2,000 Ghana cedis. Multiply by 4 years, 8,000 Ghana cedis.
But
now hostel fees, they are serious. People are now 2 in a room. The least you get on campus, which is as in okay, is 3,000 for 8 months. Now let's use 3,000 Ghana cedis as a baseline to make our calculation. 3,000 Ghana cedis multiplied by 4, 12,000 Ghana cedis. 12,000 Ghana cedis plus 8,000 Ghana cedis. That is the school fees, and that simply means that the hostel fees is 4,000 Ghana cedis more than the school fees. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And when you collect everything, it is 20,000 Ghana cedis
for 4 years.
Do you know what will happen to the average student who goes through school?
Nope. Tell us.
He has paid a lot of money to go through school. Into another benya position obey some employee ya bobo sia na dia man some from breast school. Obe pay or into when he now gets the position or that employment, he is not thinking about you. He's not thinking about your well-being. He's thinking about how he'll be able to settle that debt and settle the family. This is the problem. And until this, you see, that's the high rate of hostel fees is actually creating a bunch of poverty, or a bunch of guys. Let me put it this way. Today I'm really heated. Let me put it this way. The high rate of hostel prices going on is actually contributing to the poverty rate in our country. Because here is the case: people are now paying money, huge sums of money, to sleep in the hostels. After completing, they too, I'm going to get money, not because I want to help people. So somebody told me a story. A policeman goes into police. He paid some amount of money to be able to get access into the police.
Yeah.
Into or just because he wants to check, drivers and everything. Or Tenica.
Yeah.
And if we do this in Kobesie, we are not going anywhere. And so this issue of hostel prices, it is a really sad issue. You see, about 60% of the population of K University, the students are poor. They don't have money. How do they afford? If I tell you where some of my friends were sleeping, you won't believe it.
Wow. Then it's a story on its own.
It's a story on its own.
That must be looked.
One thing that really burdens my heart, that saddens my heart, is during the COVID-19 season, KNUST administration came on the TV and said that they are actually calling for investors. KNUST has one of the largest lands, various lands, virgin lands. Why can't they build campus hostels? And this time around, you are not going to pay for anything. You are only giving your land to the investor. But do you know why? There are some people who are at the top who owns hostels. And because of that, they will never allow this thing to happen, because should they do that, they will go bankrupt. But is it too much bigger price to sacrifice this thing just for the value of one human being? It is not.
And that is the sacrifice we are not ready to do.
And that is the sacrifice we are not ready to. And the reason why we are not ready to make that sacrifice is because we've actually lost touch of the value of human being. And that problem is coming from the fact that we've actually taken away God out of everything we do, and we think by our own minds we can do it.
The love and compassion for humanity doesn't exist again.
No, because you cannot truly have compassion on the other human being if you don't love God. No. I cannot love you if I don't love God. No.
It is true.
Right now, when the average human being or the average African looks at his brother, he's looking at how he can take his money. How obebuno.
We challenge him.
And until we go back to that which formed the foundations of America and Europe, and that made them a great nation, we have no hope.
Okay. I think I would. We are far behind time, or time is fast spent. Rather, time is fast spent. So I would have one final question for you before we wrap up. And you are listening to Mema in Ghana on Plus Radio Kumasi, and as always, we are looking into the recent happenings that is already talked about. We've already looked into that, and now we're looking into the rise in hostel accommodation fees. But like the guest is saying, it is still having a connection, or it still has a connection with the first issue we talked about. It all deals with the mindset. So finally, before we wrap up, again, what should be done? Because we have my worries. We have leaders in this country.
Exactly.
We have even the institutions. They say the universities. They say they are autonomous. But even the autonomous, what have you, that we say they have, government has appointees in the university governing councils.
Exactly.
So some way, somehow, they have a say. So what is all this? So finally,
what is all this?
Before we wrap
all
up.
right. Let me try as much as possible and then do justice to this question. What can we do? If you remember last 2 weeks, I said something. Our leaders can never provide for us that enabling environment. No, they can't. And they won't.
Is it that good? I was coming there. Is it that they wouldn't want to, or they can't?
Two things. They can't and they won't.
Wow.
Now, that is not where I want to focus on. Let me progress. They can't and they will. And so, we have to take our destinies in our own hands and decide to do research. What is the building block of building a great nation? I am throwing this challenge to our leaders in the various universities, those who do claim that they have a heart to serve the people, the NASPA presidents, those who claim they are ready to serve. If you really claim you are ready to serve and you mean it as you say, then please, I'm throwing this challenge. Go and look for the foundational building block that builds a great nation. What is even a great nation? What is the ideal of a great nation? And until we begin to find answers to these deepest problems, we have no hope. But you see, if I leave our listeners, like this, I'm not helping them. So let me give them something that would help them. Last week, I made mention of someone called Pastor Ansari, who is my mentor.
Yeah.
I am entreating everybody to go on Telegram. If you don't have Telegram, please go and download it. He has certain serious messages on God's prophetic timeline for Africa and Ghana, and what we can do as a nation and as a continent, in the way forward. And until we find God's ideologies concerning what God wants us to do, my brother, we cannot solve this problem. We only will look at the symptom. And when I am sick, and then you look at the symptom, let me say this: the fact that I am feeling dizzy doesn't mean I need blood tonic. It may be a deeper problem that I would have to be diagnosed first to be able to see what is my problem. And we are only looking at the symptom. That is our problem. We have to go into the deeper roots. So please, if you are listening to me, time is not on our side. We will not be able to go much into this. Go on Telegram. Go and search Voice of the Teaching Priest. I repeat, Voice of the Teaching Priest. He has a lot of messages, especially if you are a leader, if you are a student leader, and you want to understand nation building, the nitty-gritties of nation building. Please go and look for that man. And the reason why I'm saying that, I'm not just praising the man. I am saying that because what we will need is a teaching that will change that mindset, that African Ghanaian mentality. It will take a certain teaching to be able to handle and harness that problem. Why is it that yet the dustbin, as he was a farobatum, it is not just a normal problem, it is a deeper ideological, psychological problem. And until we find solutions to this, until we find a teaching that actually counter this problem, no, we have no hope.
Until we find a solution and we find a way to resolve or counter this problem, no, we have no hope. So those are the final words of Mr. Finney Danso. Yeah, so we were talking about the recent happenings into the Konongo Odumasi Senior High School, and also the rise in university accommodation fees. So Finney, your final words. Finally. I will still repeat what I said. Okay. If you are really looking for truth, then I'm going to show you truth, where truth is. Truth is hidden in a message. And if you can discover that message, you have found the keys to changing the trajectory of a nation. Go on Telegram, go and search for Voice of the Teaching Priest. You find messages like building kingdom alternative systems. Because right now, we need to build alternative systems. We need to build alternative educational systems, alternative political systems, alternative economic systems. Because the systems now are so corrupt, to the extent that somebody will tell you, Charlie, what you have to do is to kill everybody. If we kill everybody, you can solve the problem. No, we have to kill our minds. That old mindset of antiquity must be killed. And if we can be killed, we have hope as a nation. And I know that if we will live by truth, if we will search for truth, we will find it. And if we will discover truth, please, if you discover truth, don't leave it or don't keep it alone.
Don't keep it by yourself. Share it with your friends. Make a campaign out of it. Discover NGOs out of it and run with the message. And I know together we will build Ghana. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong.
All right, so thank you very much, Mr. Finney Jandan. So, but before you go, there is this WhatsApp message that I want to read. It's quite long, but I'll take some 1 minute or 45 seconds to read. He says, it reads, "It's indeed a dilemma for those of us who think like real Ghanaians, but not as politicians or university officials. But the unanswered question is, how are the current funds of the university used? Can they account for every piece of the money? This should be some of the basis to advocate for the increase of fees. On the other hand, is government resisting this option by the university due to political reasons? Why not give some support to have this resolved? After all, that is why the taxpayers' money is being used to take care of both of you. The decisions of these two entities does not favor the taxpayers of the citizens and especially the poor, because at the end of the day, they are the majority and they are the most affected from the outcomes of these decisions. If the university can tell and prove how they have used the money they have received over the years, and also government can show some support to improve on the situation, Ghana will benefit. Thank you very much for this message. Thank you so much for this message. So that is Mr. Finney Jandan, so just gone by, or whose voice we've been hearing. Thank you very much, Finney. Thank you for passing through. And I have to do something in a bit. And Mr. Finney Jandan so is the author of Wasi Success Blueprint. Okay, Waxy Success Blueprint. So to our brothers and sisters who will be writing the BC on Monday to Friday, you don't have to wait for you to enter into the senior high school before you think about WASI. After the BC, your next point is WASI. So you have this book written by Mr. Finney Jandan. So, but since he's here, I would once again open the microphone for him to talk about it himself. So from the horse's own mouth, sir.
All right, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Okay, so Waxy Success Blueprint is my first and maiden book for SHS students. And then there's one thing I love about the book so much, the subtitle. It says the 7 proven formula to getting minimum 7 even if you're a dummy. This book is actually based on principles I applied and an in-depth research concerning the matter of academia, studying smart, and then passing exams. And this book actually encapsulates 5 basic problems of students. Whenever a student goes to class, he easily forgets the things that the teacher teaches. And then he also finds it difficult to concentrate in class. He will learn, get to the exam hall, whatever he learned doesn't come. Even if it comes, the moment they say start work, he forgets. He writes the exams, whatever he learned came. He will say, oh, I've killed the paper. But he will come out of the exam hall, the results will come, and the paper has killed him. There are actually basic principles, 7 principles in this book that every student who applies the principles in this book would actually become an academic genius. And as a matter of fact, about 2 months ago, this book received an award as the best educational book and blog award from Educom Awards. And then one more thing, I'm also releasing another book called BC Success Blueprint, basically for BC students, which also has to do with the principles that BC students can also apply and then become success in their BC. And then one last book that I'm releasing this year, and that one I want each and everyone right from JHS up to university to get. The title of the book is How to Survive and Thrive in the Emerging Future Trends of Work. It is a serious book, and I actually took time to handle. I actually went into the future, 10 years ahead of us. What is going to happen? And then as in what is going to happen in the future of all the courses that we are studying. And some of them are shock. For example, what is the future of law? What is the future of medicine? What is the future of engineering? What is the true purpose of tertiary education? If you go to school and you are confused studying the course you are doing, what exactly are you supposed to do? And one other part of the book is, how can you make money with the course you are studying in school while in school? The book would actually blow your mind, and sooner or later it will be released into the market. So if, let's say, you want to place your order, you can take my number 02460300874 and then place your order 02460300874. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 02460800374.
6030874.
6030874.
Exactly.
All right. So that's author, CEO, Educos Consult, and the immediate past NASPA president of the Ejesu Jabeng municipality. Yabrena Song Ankwanoma.
Playing more music online. We are
Plus Radio. Plus Radio.